A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome back to Turn 200's coverage of the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. This may look familiar to you if you joined us on Monday nights. We're here at the home track of Mr. Matt Williamson and myself. My name is Tommy Cook, and we're here in Jumpin' Joliet, Illinois. Why not? Here at Sweet Home Chicagoland Speedway, home to round number 6 of the first season of 2025 for the Maximum Velocity CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Welcome into our continued coverage. My name is Tommy Cook. We got the man himself, Mr. Joshua Motichek, alongside. Welcome into Chicagoland, partner. How are we feeling tonight?
Feeling great tonight. Also, semi-home track. I was born in the great state of Chicago, or the great state of Illinois. So, yeah, super fun to be here. Looking for a great race. Did not watch Monday's race, but heard that it was a show nonetheless. So looking forward to some great racing here tonight.
It was definitely a show, and I think going to be completely different from what we're going to see here tonight. We'll get into more of why here in just a second. But first, let's take a look at the point standings. We've had 5 races and 5 different winners, and 3 of those 5 are represented in the top 5 in the standings. Of course, Dakota Floyd had a big jump last week after that first career Max V win. Him and Justin Michael now have only completed 4 of the 5 races here this season. It just goes to show you don't need to start them all to be up there in the point standings.
Yeah, definitely. If you can put in good finishes on the races you do make, it definitely can be enough to keep you in contention. A name that I am disappointed to not see a little bit higher up is Riley Tilton. He's shown good pace so far in the season, just unable to be there at the end. So hopefully we will see him get a good race here tonight.
This is very much a Riley Tilton track. I know we say that a lot. The finishes have come slowly but steadily here this season. Last week was a rough one, but he was not alone in that. Another driver that missed last week was Chris Howell. Not 100% sure what the tiebreaker rules are, but Mark Jackson has the better finish this season than Chris Howell and also has started all the races. So tentatively Jackson above the cut line, even though him and Chris Howell tied for that 12th position in the points standings. James Lehman, of course, untouched at the top of the board all season long after Connor Bolton gave up his points lead after round number 2 this season. Interesting to note, we've had 5 races with 5 different pole sitters, 5 different stage winners, and 5 different race winners. Of course, some overlap between those names, but nobody with a 2 in any of those columns. As qualifying is going along right now, James Lehman has provisional pole, so that would break that streak. He would take his second pole of the season if indeed that comes to pass. So I said it earlier tonight, as Justin Michael just went P2 on the board in qualifying. I think we are getting our second winners in all of those categories here tonight. How do you feel about maybe getting some repeats in tonight at Chicagoland?
Yeah, I definitely feel like once you get to this point in the season, you start catching those repeats. There's a lot of guys who are just phenomenally fast in this series. So, I mean, to go this far with having no repeats on, pole, stage, or race wins is pretty incredible. But I definitely think we're going to see some repeats here tonight.
Well, we got about 50 seconds. Want to welcome in anybody that's hanging out with us. And, of course, shout out, as always, to the Motichek gang. Hello to Bailey. Hello to Robin. And thank you for joining us here tonight at Chicagoland Speedway. Next week, we're at the Rock. Good old Rockingham Raceway over there in North Carolina for some Max V racing action. Love anytime that we could get some racing in over at the 1 mile there. Excited for that. Excited tomorrow night to go jumpy truck racing at the Sonoma Rallycross course. Sonoma had a big update in a hot patch today, and this is not a joke. They added a flagpole, and that is seriously all that update was for. Don't ask. I have no idea. But we'll see how the flagpole changes the racing on the Rallycross course tomorrow with the Special Stage Pro Truck Series. And again, thanking everybody that was here Monday night and sent off Truck 200 in style. James Lehman came oh so close to taking victory in that final Truck 200 race on Monday. He will finish second there, but he will take the pole position. Headed into 100 laps here this evening at Chicagoland. Lehman on pole. Justin Michael back in the lineup after missing last week at second. Haven't seen Cody Gibson in a couple of weeks. He will line up in third here this evening with Dakota Floyd, last week's first-time race winner in Max V, starting at fourth. Scott Patton was also in the mix for a win here on a Monday, just as he was last week at Martinsville, and it went just as well both times for the 46th driver. He starts at 5th tonight. Will Kirk similarly dispositioned on the final lap at Chicagoland on Monday night. He will start in P6. Matt Sisler and Riley Tilton, 2 sleepers to take their first series victory here this evening on row number 4. Rob Haynes and Johnny Hamby will round out your top 10 starters. This is Matt Montalbot and Charlie Widener on row number 6. Row number 7 is Heath Smith, second in the points standings, kind of a sleeper. Have not really said Heath Smith's name all that much. He does have a Max V sanctioned win here in a recruitment race, and Jacob Gibson will start to his outside. That is row number 7. Ty Young and Jack Watts on row 8. Jordan Neese, always fast on the mile and a half, will start back in 17th with Brad Slagle to his outside. It is George Hendricks and Tom Weeza making his debut here tonight. He will round out your top 20 starters. Willie Evernham and Billy Bumgardner in above the cut line. The winner at Daytona starting in 22nd here this evening. Chris Sargent will start in 23rd with Trent Drum to his outside. Chris Voiles and your reigning series champion, a winner here back in 2023 at Chicagoland by only a few thousandths of a second. Greg Mall starts in 26th. It is Bill Paradise, and Zachary Groover on row 14. Mark Jackson way back there in 29th with Michael Vann and Kyle Kabash. Your 31 drivers that are going to get after it here under the lights and under the setting sun here in upstate Illinois. Mr. Joshua Motichek, what do we got in terms of our race strategy and some new rules as well for an addendum for these drivers?
Yeah, so race strategy, looking at 3 extra sets of tires, as always, with no faster pairs. We have introduced incident limits starting tonight with this race. So 16 incident limits is a drive-through penalty under green. If you reach 21 incident points, you will be disqualified from the race. So definitely interesting to see how that shakes up. Maybe ward some drivers off for making some pretty bold moves, but standard 70% pit window should put it around lap 28. 100 laps is the full distance with the stage break at lap 25. So should make for some good racing. Might see drivers being a little bit more cautious than we have seen previously so far this season. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on as we go throughout this race.
And certainly you want to be mindful of the incident points. It's always something in the back of your mind. You could pick up phantom contact that doesn't actually affect how your truck drives. But certainly at a track like this where you're going to be flat out a lot, even in trying to manage your right side tires, you still don't want to pick up any damage, any contact. So some of these drivers may just be treating it like business as usual. We'll have to see. James Lehman and Justin Michael spent a lot of time at the front of the field here on Monday night. We'll see if they can hold the fort once again here. We're racing in Chicagoland.
Pretty even start off the rip. Neck and neck going into turn 1. Dakota Floyd going to fall back slightly. Might fall to the clutches of Scott Patton.
Cody Gibson working the bottom as Patton and Floyd side by side.
Lehman now going to get clear going into 3. Going to try and pull Cody Gibson with him.
That was, I think,
Dakota Floyd into the wall.
Yes, indeed it was. Opening lap goes to James Lehman. The most laps here on Monday as well. Hello to the Will Kirk fan club. Kirk back one spot from where he started. Matt Sisler's taking that spot away. Now Rob Haynes working underneath the 9 truck. But hello to Michelle in Maryland.
Already seeing a few different lines here. A couple people further back in this field starting to run the top right away. So going to be interesting to see how that fares for tire wear.
This isn't quite a lockdown track like Las Vegas would be, where you see these drivers have to go to the top side to survive. Certainly the top is going to be the preferred place to be as this run goes along. There's still plenty of hay to be made here down on the bottom, though. And we know the usual Justin Michael MO by this point is to drop back a little bit and conserve, but that's not really what we're seeing here, as he and Cody Gibson pushing the issue for James Lehman's race lead.
Yeah, previous races where Lehman has led off the start, he's pretty jumped out by himself, but not seeing that here as Justin Michael looks underneath Cody Gibson going into turn 3.
Not only underneath Gibson, underneath Lehman, and it's a 2-for-1 for Justin Michael. 87 on point here, lap 5 on the board. And now Lehman underneath. Looking to get underneath and get ahead down this curved back straightaway. They are neck and neck, and now Scott Patton is into the mix. Rob Haynes, Dakota Floyd, others not too far behind. Michael has it at the stripe still, but neither driver going to be clear here into 1 and 2. Gibson eyeing a gap up the middle as Lehman is clear, and now Michael is turned into the inside. He goes. Can he keep it off the wall? No. big shot there, and no caution. As Gibson and Michael come together battling for second and battling for the lead. So that clears up Scott Patton now to move to second. Gibson falls back to third. Rob Haynes is right on the scene now in fourth. Disaster.
Not the way he wanted to have this race turn out.
No, certainly. And Michael will have a guaranteed opportunity to come down pit road and get damage fixed if he does not already have a meatball flag. If he does have required repairs, he'll be required to fix them within the next 3 laps, and that will certainly end the 87's night realistically early. If he doesn't, he could just kind of trundle along here for the next 15 to 20 laps, hope he doesn't go a lap down, and then get some damage fixed. Let's take a look at that very quickly here. It's already happened. We'll have to back it up. From the chopper cam, that's Michael up top. He moves down the track just a bit. Gibson is there. And it's easy to get disoriented down the back straightaway here in Chicagoland. Like we said, it's curved. It opens up a little bit more. You think you're running the wall, but you move down the track and you're kind of in a weird spot.
Yeah, I know that would mess with my head big time.
Does not seem to affect Gibson all that much here. He's still running in third behind Patton, who is still well within touch of James Lehman as we are working lap number 10.
Jordan Neese is up 7 spots from 17th, now inside the top 10, working on Dakota Floyd.
Good stuff from Neese early here. I was surprised to see him qualify all the way back in 17th. He has quickly made his way into the top 10. Quite a few drivers down 5 positions early. Will Kirk, Riley Tilton, and Johnny Hamby are those drivers. Kyle Kabash further back is up 6. So good work from him early. Shout out to Big W Racing, shooting on the 66 of Chris Surgeon. He's up 3 spots, running in P20. No reason to push the issue all that much. We got another handful of laps until a guaranteed caution is to come out. That's not going to stop Patton and Lehman from going at it here for the lead. We talked about unique race winners here this season. Patton without the dub thus far in 2025. So he could keep that streak alive, and he is a good one to have waiting in the wings.
Yeah, he's been there most races, right there inside the top 3 to the top 5, and just unable to make it happen at the stripe.
Yeah, and last week in particular definitely was a missed opportunity. Led a lot of laps at Martinsville. In fact, led the most laps at Martinsville. Was on the charge late on slightly fresher tires than what Dakota Floyd and James Lehman had, and then ends up making contact with Lehman and setting off the big one to end all big ones. And still snuck in for a top 10, but he was looking for the dub, no doubt.
And Cody Gibson riding right behind these guys as they're battling for the lead. I'm sure he would like to see them single file out so that he can maybe make a jump for the lead, but not much he can do when they're battling.
Rob Haynes, Matt Sisler, Matt Montebold here into the top, or nearly into the top 5 as they continue to go side by side for the top spot. I mean, they're all right here. They're all fighting amongst themselves, but they got to love having the leaders right in front of them. As Patton into the wall and making contact with James Lehman there as well. And now Gibson has the door shut on him, thought about outside 3 wide. We saw this kind of action last time we were here all the way back in 2023. Lots of pack-style racing, only broken up by green flag pit stops, but we didn't get to see many of those. Saw a photo finish after an absolute slugfest of a final restart. Greg Mall taking that victory. And even despite the contact to the wall and amongst themselves, Lehman and Patton both underneath the apron in the tri-oval here. 10 laps to go in the stage.
As we take a look back, Justin Michael is still on the lead lap. So it looks like he's going to try and crawl back at least to the caution at the stage break.
Only 3/4 of the track behind currently. He's still making decent enough lap times that he should be able to stay on the lead lap. But he'll be very excited to get some damage fixed on that truck, no doubt. Lehman and Patton not leaving each other's side as Lehman is drifting up the track there.
Cody Gibson's backed off a little bit. He's got Rob Haynes on his bumper now.
Oh, Lehman!
Lehman into the wall.
Charlie Widener behind them into the wall as well. Monkey see, monkey do at the front of the field. This will give some separation finally to somebody. And that just so happens to be Scott Patton. Here's Haynes underneath. Trying to clear. Not going to get it done. Lehman digging hard. Here's a shot down the backstretch from Sisler up to the 199 of Haynes. Cody Gibson now tucks in behind James Lehman. Floyd watching it all unfold. Haynes slides up. Little contact to the wall there for Gibson. Sisler all the way down to the grass to defend against Floyd. One second lead now. It's the biggest of the race thus far, but Patton has it over his teammate Haynes as Lehman has got them all bunched up here.
Yeah, see a little bit of damage on the right rear of that 50 truck, so curious to see how much that's going to affect him.
Well, it is.
Gibson's into the wall.
Yeah, Gibson into the wall, and you can tell this truck, certainly some right rear overheating there, but the damage on the right side of that truck has loosened it up as they're going to make some contact behind him. That is Montalbot and Jordan Neese, and Montalbot goes into the wall. Makes a little contact with Riley Tilton on his way by. Neese fighting to move up here. He'll go up to the top side. Here's Heath Smith into the mix for the first time. He's up 7 spots from where he took the green. Floyd and Gibson side by side in front of them. Gibson now back on the charge here, back up to 3rd. Now into the wall. 5 laps to go, make it 4.5 down the backstretch for Scott Patton. His lead continuing to increase over Rob Haynes. Very eventful opening stage.
Yeah,
Especially
lots
for
of
no
shuffling
cautions.
around. Riley Tilton dropped back at the start of this race, but he has made his way back up to 9th.
Will Kirk has dropped back as well, but he's now trying to get through on James Lehman and Johnny Hamby. Hamby crossing over Lehman. That should free up Kirk to continue to try to move forward here. Jordan Neese up 10 spots. Started back at 17th. Floyd and Gibson right where they started this race, side by side with one another, battling for 3rd.
Patton still holding about a 2nd lead. So seems to be pretty stable out there by himself.
Yeah, him and Haynes kind of trading lap times back and forth, but Rob may have his hands full here with Dakota Floyd for the final 2 laps of the stage. Dakota Gibson not too far behind either.
Yeah, I think Floyd might have saved his tires a little bit at the beginning of this stage, trying to mount a comeback here to get the most possible points he can at the stage break.
Here goes the 57 underneath. Scott Patton to the stripe. White flag here in the stage.
Floyd will have it at the line. We come to the last lap of the stage.
Oh, Billy Bumgardner is off in the tri-oval. He was inside the top 20. He'll now spin out and bring out the caution. So caution coming out half a lap early, but that will give the stage win to Scott Patton, and he is the first repeat stage winner of the year. So we're 2 for 2 on breaking our unique streaks here thus far, with Lehman taking the second pole of the season, and Patton taking the second stage of the season, and that is his second stage win in a row.
Yeah, Patton definitely showing form, back-to-back stage wins. Hopefully he can keep it up there up front and not have any unfortunate run-ins as he did in Martinsville.
Speaking of unfortunate run-ins there, that was Billy Baumgartner making contact, and we'll have to take a look at it again to see who he actually made the contact with. But either way, that is what is going to trigger the caution here. Looks like that is the 94 of Ty Young. Billy already loose. Back up the track into Ty. You know, as soon as you get these tires dirty and try and bring it from the flat back up onto the track at the clip that he was going, you're going to have a tough time keeping it underneath of you.
Yeah, these trucks, once they get a little sideways, a little squirrely, they don't like to straighten back out. So after a little run-in with the wall, James Lehman dropped back to 16th position.
Wow.
And that stage break caution came out.
Race off pit road, goes to Patton. Floyd out second. Dakota. Rob Haynes in third. Dakota Floyd in fourth. Or excuse me, Cody Gibson in fourth and Matt Sisler in fifth. Floyd out second. But got Dakota DeMade on the brain, I guess.
Names are hard.
Uh-huh. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them here. Fortunately, names are what I have to do for a living. For somebody that's terrible with names.
Well, James Lehman's going to get some damage repaired and be back out. Justin Michael, as well, is now exiting the pits. So not a great first stage for the front row starting.
No, certainly not. They're going to restart 25th and 27th unless some drivers in front of them come in for fuel. We'll restart on lap 30 here. And, I mean, there's a chance that we wad them up here, but it's a 50-50 ball, whether we get a caution or whether we get a long green flag run here. We'll see how these drivers have set themselves up to potentially run this the rest of the way out. We're certainly not guaranteed any cautions from here on out, but it is pack racing under the lights at a 1.5 mile track. Anything can happen. We've already seen it. Two of the heavy favorites coming into tonight, our front two starters, both with problems, both with damage, both deep in the pack here, coming to a restart on lap 29. But Scott Patton's looked good up front. Dakota Floyd seems to have the long run pace once again here this evening. Rob Haynes, Cody Gibson, Matt Sisler, Heath Smith was a late charger there as well. Those are your front six coming to the restart. Jacob Gibson, Riley Tilton, Jordan Neese, and Matt Montalbot, the top 10. We're back underway. Ooh, Floyd does not get going.
Yeah, Patton going to get a good push from Rob Haynes. Going to get both of them pretty clear out front.
And that's super speedway stuff you saw right there. The 199 lane in the bumper, pushing all the way through the corner. He's got a good gap, and there goes Heath Smith, nearly up into the air for the one truck. And that is the caution. I kept clicking on everybody but him as he was tumbling through the running order there, so didn't see the extent of the damage on this one truck, but it certainly looked spectacular as we're under caution for the second time. Remember, he had just restarted in 6th, and he was on that outside line that got checked up there behind Dakota Floyd, and there's some contact with Riley Tilton. You can see all 4 tires up off the ground there for just a split second. And again, the front tires lift off the ground there. But that helps kind of slow this truck down. That it didn't go over was a blessing. Into the grass, he's able to slow it down a little bit more. And keeps it from the outside wall and the inside wall. We'll more than likely have to burn a set of tires, but that's really no harm, no foul there for the Oregon Ducks number 1 Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, definitely much better than getting a bunch of damage.
Certainly is. Let's take a look at it from the cockpit there. That is as controlled as you could possibly hope for. Well, one more shot here. Back it up. And that is Smith moving down just a fraction right as Tilton is trying to arc the corner out. Certainly Tilton moved up more than Smith moved down. But if I were Riley, I would probably expect the one to, especially with the curved back straightaway, you have more room to maneuver there on the outside. I would have expected him to keep going, but that is a racing incident through and through. I'm sure Heath will be very hot, though, with how well he was coming up through the field there before that stage came out.
Yeah, he was definitely making ground.
So now if you're Heath Smith, you passed all those cars. You went from 13th to 6th in the opening 25 laps of this race. Now it's lap 31, and you're going to restart here just barely inside the top 30. I mean, what's the reset process like, knowing how fast you are?
I think the reset process as a driver is very patient. He knows he can do it. He knows he has the pace. Now he's just got to do it for about 20 more trucks than he did last time. So definitely a patience game when you end up in that situation. Obviously, being at the front, you know you have the pace to be there. It's a little more difficult to get there from the rear than it is to start there and stay there.
And certainly Heath will be hoping now that he's dropped plumb at the back of this pack that they don't do exactly what just happened to him and really pile him up in front of him.
Yep, having Heath Smith, James Lehman, and Justin Michael all there in the back, back 20 positions.
I've not mentioned Greg Mall at all today. He is up 11 from where he started. He is in the top 15 for the first time tonight. But it is still Scott Patton and Rob Haynes at the front of this field. Haynes now on the outside of the front row. Patton with control on the inside. Back to it here, lap 33. Third of the way through.
Go to Floyd again, not getting a great start.
Will at least hang on to fourth as Sisler will slot in ahead of the 57. They're side by side behind them. It's the Gibsons, Jacob and Cody, fighting for fifth.
Oh, Jordan Neese gets onto the apron.
Yeah. I think he was following Jacob Gibson, who did just about the exact same thing.
That's going to open up the door for Montalbot to come through.
Matt Montalbot here in the 21. Good to have him back. Matt Sisler's tracking down these top two. But they are really getting after it here. 2 and 3, momentarily 4 wide there. As now you see the 93 of Sisler underneath. The 199 of Rob Haynes looking for second. Maybe even more. Charlie Widener just had to make a trip down pit road, presumably for a pit road violation. He will rejoin the fray off the lead lap.
Sisler underneath Patton for the lead here, coming off of 4.
And how about Matt Sisler? On point at Chicagoland, came up one spot short in a tremendous drive at Homestead. Took his second career podium finish with Max V. What a story it would be if our unique winner streak continues with this 93 truck on the top of the box tonight. Would not be surprised one bit, but it would be awfully cool.
We definitely have the drivers that can make it happen up here at the front.
Certainly so.
Your only winner inside the top 5 is Dakota Floyd, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct. Cody Gibson part-time this season. Patton Haynes and Sisler have all come up close, but have come up short. First winner at all right now in the running order is Greg Mull down in 12th. Or other than Dakota Floyd, I suppose. Can't forget about him. Especially since you just said his name.
I think that just goes to show the caliber of drivers that are in this series.
Yeah, pretty much everybody is capable of winning at one time or another, and quite a few drivers that have never done it have come close so many times. 3 wide. How about Tom Wiesa in the middle there? Oh, and he was nearly up off the front bumper and into the grandstands from Jordan Nees. Go ahead.
Wiesa going to be up 7 spots now. So making some good ground in his first start this season.
Certainly. I think one of these many drivers that have joined for the ARCA League and are enjoying the Truck League as a result. There's lots to enjoy here tonight thus far, 40% of the way through this one. Sisler leading Patton Haynes and the Gibsons, Cody and Jacob, respectively, 4th and 5th. Oh, as there's Will Kirk. He's going to track it all the way to the grass to try and save it. And now off the front bumper of Johnny Hamby. Around goes Kirk. Caution is back out. Thought maybe he had it saved. He was battling side by side for 6th with Ty Young and Matt Montalban at the time. And that is caution number 3. Hamby will certainly have some damage on the front end, not where you want it. Kirk may get away from this okay. We'll have to see. We'll take a replay. It's already in progress here. We'll back it up. And again, this Kirk, you see, just barely clipping the apron there. Young is holding him pretty tight. It's actually just some contact between those two out of turn number 2. And once that truck gets unloaded and starts heading back up the hill like you saw there with Will Kirk, there's not a lot you can do. If the truck decides it's going, it's going.
They have a mind of their own.
Yes, they do. We will take this on the good old kickpot cam and show you what we mean. Let's just back it up. Kirk underneath Ty Young. Looking for a spot in the top 5. Just so innocuous on the contact there, and maybe as he made that move to try and get back up onto the track, just touched the throttle a little bit, and that left rear tire may have just barely clipped the grass. And that certainly doesn't help matters either. Let's take one more look at it, but from Johnny Hamby. I'll show you how quickly he falls in the lap of the Gibson number 70. That's 2 guys with rotten luck right there. If they didn't have bad luck, they'd have no luck at all. Kirk and Hamby coming together to make super bad luck.
Not the kind of luck you want in racing, that's for sure.
Some takers down pit road under this caution here. More crucially, some not takers, particularly Cody Gibson and Jordan Nees. Either that, or they all came down pit road, and maybe Gibson and Nice on an alternate strategy here. To do a lot of scrolling to figure this out.
I think the way that the racing has been playing out here, if it were me as the driver in this race, I would probably make the jump to take the fuel where I could.
I'm not showing pit stops for Cody Gibson or Jordan Nice, so I'm assuming they've stayed out. Everybody else behind them has come in. Sisler was the leader at the time, so he'll restart on row 2. Scott Patton to his outside, but Cody Gibson, the control car, will elect the inside and put Nice to his outside. These are two drivers that have been scrapping for every inch on this track here tonight, have made some contact with the wall and some contact with some other drivers. We'll see now what they will do for the clean air and the track position on point here at Chicagoland.
Mark Jackson's a name we have not seen tonight. He's going to be restarting in 6th.
And I think that was a strategy play from him. This puts him up 23 from where he started this race. But Jackson, one of those drivers above the points cutoff line right now. He needs to make the moves to get in the top 10. Back underway, good start here for Gibson. Lap 44 on the board. Doors half open down low for Sisler. He's not going to take it. Now he's got Patton right to his outside. Fighting for third, now fighting for second. Sisler on the move down low.
Patton going to fall in line as Nice runs the top.
Oh, there was a little slip up and a slider there from Jacob Gibson in front of the 17 of Mark Jackson. Oh, and they're going around behind. That's Ty Young. Oh, Greg Mall into the catch fence hard there. Still stacking up. Chris Voiles gets a piece of it under the caution now for the 4th time. Charging Charlie around. There's Voiles. First one I saw go around was the 94. The Tide Ride is not having a good time tonight in Chicagoland. It's bouncing around like the Tropicana Orange. But how does it start? Oh, and of course we start in the kickpot cam there. They are 4 wide. And that is Floyd coming up the track into Ty Young. Young down the track, right rear hooks the shitty Coolers Chevy Silverado. And Mall going for a ride here. Off the nose, I believe that's George Hendricks. Keeps it out of the catch fence, but, I mean, pretty hard shot there to the outside wall regardless, and you never want to be pulling a 50-50 board slide with the NASCAR truck.
No, I don't think the underside of these chassis are quite designed for that.
No. We'll leave the truck grinding to Tony Hawk. I'm really proud of that pun, by the way. Thank you very much.
10 out of 10.
And you can see it there. I mean, Ty not moving anywhere on the track. That wheel was still until he started headed down. Floyd's going to take some damage in this. Willie Evernham just sneaking through there. Kyle Kabash as well. Bill Paradise, Chris Sargent, they get through relatively unscathed. Trent Drum as well. So it's really just the 94 and the 7, the 28. Bam! A shot there to Charging Charlie, who's having a rough night tonight. Those 4 and George Hendricks are going to get the worst of this one here on lap 44.
Looked like just about everyone who got a piece in that one came down pit road to get at least tires, maybe some damage repaired.
Worth pointing out as well that Johnny Hamby never left pit road after he made the contact with Will Kirk. He is still getting damage fixed. Either that or has just disconnected from the session, one of the two.
Yeah, it looks like he is out, as well as Chris Voiles has also left this race.
That's, I mean, Chris Voiles is another one that just doesn't have any luck at all. So hopefully we'll see them back at the Rock next week. Autodromo Dwayne Johnson. Always a fun time whenever we can cut it up at the Rock. Rockingham Speedway. Excited for the real-life Xfinity cars and trucks to get back there this year. I would probably trek out there for that if I didn't have a sprint car race in real life to cover. Highland Speedway in Highland, Illinois. If anybody wants to come there Easter weekend instead of either watching The Rock or watching The Rock at WrestleMania, tough choices here. Fortunately, I can't do any of the fun stuff because I have to work.
I'd argue you have a pretty fun job.
Well, yeah, you're right. Not a super great restart there from Sisler on the outside, and he nearly gets together there with Jacob Gibson. Is now Cody Gibson slots in on point. Here is Nice right back on it. Rob Haynes running in third. Scott Patton all the way back to eighth here, nearly making contact with Justin Michael, who's back into the top 10, and he has to put on the brakes behind Mark Jackson. Michael in the middle of 3 wide.
Lots of shuffling around here on this restart.
Top 4 are 2 by 2. Cody Gibson, Jordan Nice, Rob Haynes, Jacob Gibson. Now Matt Sisler sticking his nose underneath the 19. On the bottom of 3 wide, Riley Tilton down below the apron there. They are fanned out 4 wide behind as they're making contact for the lead here. 5 under a blanket. Now the caution is out. We are wrecking in the back, and that is Heath Smith. The 052 of Brad Slagle with heavy, heavy damage. And that old saying creeping up here, cautions breeding cautions. First 25 laps went so well, got that stage caution, and we've had 4 in the next 25 after that, and Brad Slagle going to put the finishing touches on this truck. Hot dog.
Looks like this one started way back on the entry of 1.
Yeah, we'll go chopper cam here and back it up like you said. We saw Tilton going down there. We also saw entering the trial with the 87 of Justin Michael having to put on the brakes as Mark Jackson making contact there with Scott Patton. It looks like something breaks on the 17 of Jackson at that point. You saw something skitter out across the track. This is going to get everybody bunched up. That's Dakota Floyd again. Brad Slagle then, he is turned by the 17. And boy, Heath Smith took a hell of a shot to that outside wall. So Mark Jackson really in trouble there. And he gets them all destroyed into turn number 3.
Yeah, just some unfortunate contact there on the tri-oval that it just gets him discombobulated, and sometimes when you get in that instance as a driver, you don't recover fast enough.
Tom Wiesa got a big shot there. And poor Ty Young in another one. But Heath Smith, we talked about how he's been the silent assassin this season, second in the point standings, quietly taking home very good finishes. And this is not going to be a very good finish here this evening, unfortunately, for driver number 1. Well, this is certainly helping the fuel situation little by little here as these caution laps continue to pile up.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is definitely the window that Jordan Nice was looking for. I do believe that he pitted for fuel.
I think so. He's catching up to the tail of the field right now.
So showing that Cody Gibson is the only truck here up front who hasn't pitted since the stage.
And that indeed should be the case. We mentioned Justin Michael getting back up into the mix. How about James Lehman here as well? These are 2 drivers that started on the front row. They had their early race problems. Michael got spun into the inside wall, did not bring out a caution. James Lehman got into the outside wall and dropped like a rock in the closing laps of the stage. But they have both made their damage repairs. They are back up onto row number 3 here for this restart. And thanks to Heath Smith for joining us in the chat. And I'm sorry that you had to join us in the chat at all. That was a big hit to the outside wall. But we'll hope to talk to you at the end of it next week at Rockingham. Cody Gibson, Rob Haynes, Jacob Gibson, Matt Sisler, James Lehman, Justin Michael, Scott Patton, Matthew Montemalt, Riley Tilton, Dakota Floyd, the top 10. Just about everybody in this top 10 has had some kind of issue up to this point tonight. I'd say save for Jacob Gibson and Rob Haynes and Matt Sisler. And as I say that, I hope that I did not just jinx those 3. Everybody else has gotten a piece in something. Boy, trouble might find them pretty quickly here, as I thought Lehman was going to take it 3 wide. Doesn't quite have the run for it. But Jacob Gibson, side by side with Rob Haynes. Haynes going to try and take it to the outside, looking for the race lead. 3 wide behind them.
Takes it to the wall for 3 wide.
Look at this. Oh, Jacob Gibson loses the nose, slides up the track. Luckily just clear there on Sisler. May stall the momentum a bit for Justin Michael. Now Michael going to drop down to the bottom of the track. Haynes trying to get clear around the outside for the top spot. Sisler throwing the block on Justin Michael. Gets a good run, but nowhere to go. This is the top 5 all right here as Sisler worms his way up in front of the 19.
Lots of very tight racing here in the front.
Matt Montemalt now going to make it 3 rows. And now we're 3 wide with Sisler, Gibson in the middle. And it's still Haynes and Cody Gibson side by side for the lead. Justin Michael trying to factor in here.
Justin Michael has had a run for the past few laps, and he's going to take it to the bottom
just as Gibson
of Cody Gibson.
Moves up in front. Michael says, nah, we're going down low. And he does it. Michael to P2, what a comeback for the 87 up to this point. Won the Truck 200 Championship on Monday at this very track. It looked pretty dire at moments. Even had a car bounce off his hood in the final lap, but he was able to secure the bag. And now he'll be looking for the race lead here into turn number 3. Michael
Haynes going to look to cross him over.
Not going to have it. What a recovery.
Cody Gibson under fire from Montemalt.
George Hendricks staying down low, much appreciated. They are getting after it. One driver just got up into the wall further back. It may have been Zachary Groover. As Cody Gibson nearly got into the wall there.
Jacob Gibson staying right on the tail of that Cheetos truck. Maybe trying to get him a piece.
How about Matt Montemalt moving up into 3rd? Or at least challenging for it underneath Cody Gibson. Jacob Gibson has had some strong 1.5 mile runs in the past. Podium finisher at Las Vegas last season as Haynes, I thought, was tracking for the wall there on corner exit. But he keeps it out and still maintaining his momentum behind Justin Michael here. Montemalt has an opportunity to get up in line if he wants it, but that door has closed now. It's Gibson rallying back to the outside.
Hilton makes it 3 wide further back to make the move inside the top 10.
Greg Mall, this truck was almost in the catch fence like 10 laps ago.
Guess he got some of that Gorilla Glue from Dakota Floyd.
I guess so. You'd have thought Dakota would have run out selling to teams last week in Martinsville, but I guess he still had some in supply.
That's what good sponsors do.
So a little bit more orderly in the top 5 now. Just as I say that, James Lehman goes for a run underneath Cody Gibson. It's Jacob Gibson running in 4th. Lehman wants 5th. Not going to get it. Altobalt looking for a way to close the gap up to Rob Haynes as Justin Michael got a bit out of shape there. And the gap closes up from the 87 to the 199. But even as they're pretty orderly up front, they are not very orderly here. Neese up the middle, 3 wide, and now makes it 4 wide. Takes the run to the inside of Patton, and then tucks in with inches to spare. Ball into the wall.
He's not done yet.
No, he's not.
Neese to the inside of Patton. Tilton to follow.
Lehman's still working over Cody Gibson. As Patton loses ground up top. And there goes Jordan Neese. We talked about him being in his window. I'd imagine he's on a little bit fresher rubber here as well. And he is making up great ground. Up to 7th.
And Cody Gibson pitted at the stage and has not yet pitted again. So definitely a lot of fuel save happening here with this 3 truck.
It's still impressive that he's up here running. I mean, a little bit of a tire disparity, but I mean, this is a relatively high tire degradation track, even for a 1.5 miles.
Yeah, Jordan Neese on a lot fresher rubber here.
You can see it on display. Took Lehman 3 or 4 laps to make that move, and he just did it in 1 set of corners. Lehman not going to give up the spot very easily, but it's for P5.
Oh, and Lehman's into the wall.
Lehman
Oh, and they're going to stack up.
Oh, my Lord. Jordan Neese up onto his
Neese is over.
side. And
Tilton into the wall.
Goodness gracious.
Neese will come to a sliding halt.
And he'll get uprighted by James Lehman. Well, that's caution number 6. Right as things were starting to heat up front, Matthew Montalbald had just gotten through to 2nd on Rob Haynes. And was tracking down Justin Michael. My, oh my.
That certainly heated up quickly.
Yeah, and it's already in progress here. We're going to have to stop and back it up, take a look at how this one gets going. Remember, Neese in the 12 truck here on the fresher tires, but you already see ahead of him, James Lehman is in the wall. And just a little passing contact. Dakota Floyd buries into the back of the 3 and the 58. Neese going for the slide. And, I mean, at that point, why not give him a shot? Wow.
Man, oh man. Looks like that's going to end the night for last week's winner, Dakota Floyd, as he has left this race.
I mean, that was a huge shot for him. It's right on board with Dakota Floyd here. See just how quickly this falls in his lap. Oh, man. Good job by everybody else not to pile into that as well, but those 4 battling for spots in the top 5. They all got.
I'd like to see that kickpot cam with your sideways truck, Jordan Neese.
Well, we kind of caught it live, but we could certainly give it another shot here. As that was the move for the lead, right as the caution was coming out. So close. But let's try this again now. But this time with Jordan Neese. It's already in progress. Let's back it up. And same as Heath Smith, hello to Brett Slagle in the chat. Neese never really lifted out of the throttle, even before Lehman was in trouble there. And then here comes the boom. And actually, looks like, unless Michael is the control car here and is elected the outside, I'm not too sure Montemalt didn't have the spot for the lead there as that caution was coming out.
I think that is the case.
So Montemalt will be in control here. How about that? Actually, it seems like pretty much everybody, or a lot of drivers, came down pit road, so maybe that's where he made up that spot, but we'll never know for sure because we were in the replays. Either way. Montemalt in control. We're underway. And 69 laps complete. Lap 70 on the board. And now it's Montemalt, Haynes, and Michael going for the lead. Jacob Gibson, Scott Patton, the top 5. Montemalt wiggling up the track. Opens the door for Haynes and Michael to get through.
Jacob Gibson now in the mix again. And Will Kirk is back.
Wow.
Aiming for the top 5.
I dare not say anything more, but Will Kirk is in 6th. Oh, trouble out back. Trent Drum, Billy Bumgardner, your Daytona winner also. Mark Jackson involved. Martha, no, Wally Terheimer is not in the field here tonight, unfortunately, but appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully Wally will be back next week at Rockingham. That is caution number 7. They are really starting to stack up here at Chicagoland. Would not quite expected this many incidents here. It looks like we're riding on board with Billy Bumgardner. It's already taken place ahead of him. Boy, I think this one's going to be a little bit harder to track down, maybe. We'll go up to Trent Drum. So Bill Paradise is getting loose. The field is checking up. Mark Jackson does not check up. Tags Billy Bumgardner and Trent Drum at the same time. Sends all 3 of them around. Maybe go up to the People's Champ, and I got to get off this kickbot cam here. Let's see what gets the 556 out of shape here. He is just loose on fresh tires from the looks of it. No, Riley, you are correct. You have not had any luck the last couple weeks. So as Bill is saving it, Jackson, Baumgartner, and Drum onto the scene. That's a pretty hard shot there for Trent Drum into the outside wall.
Yeah, Drum is down pit road to get damage repaired. Bumgarner down, Bill Paradise also in the pits. Jordan Neese is in the pits. Presumably still from being on his door.
I was going to say, that one's not quite a surprise. The surprise that, I don't know, if I was sliding on my roof at some point in the race, I probably would not even try. Although the roof doesn't take any damage. But he was on his side, which certainly does. And, also taking the full brunt of James Lehman's truck on the rear axle probably is not doing any favors in the repair department either.
Most definitely not.
Well, that was not the restart that Matt Montalbot was looking for. He drops from being the control car all the way back to 5th. And that puts Rob Haynes on point. Very good restart for him. Justin Michael will start on the outside of the front row. Jacob Gibson, Scott Patton, Montalbot, and Will Kirk, the top 6. Matt Sisler will restart in 7th. 8th for Zachary Groover, who we have not mentioned at all tonight. Greg Mall in 9th. I can't believe this truck is still running. How about Michael Van in the top 10? We don't get to shout out the 89 here all that much on a Thursday night. He's not had great luck here this season. But how about Michael Van running in the top 10? Have not talked about Jack Watts at all tonight. He's usually good on these mile and a half, so I'd look for him to be a factor here late in the running. Chris Sargent will start to his outside in 12th. Mark Jackson, he's had an interesting night. He'll start in 13th. Looks like Bill Paradise will restart 14th. Kyle Kabash in 15th. Damage for Billy Bumgarner. He'll restart in 16th. James Lehman in 17th. And Trent Drum, the last driver on the lead lap, as we're doubling up here. We'll be in the final quarter of this race.
25 to go, so they should be able to make it to the end on fuel. If we don't have any more cautions, it's going to be a shootout.
Certainly, these drivers will be very close if we happen to have an overtime, which at this rate, I think maybe we can bank on it.
It's definitely possible.
Good start for Gibson there. He'll challenge for second. Michael getting a big shove here from Patton. And he's cleared down on the 19 and will take that second spot away outright. Ooh, Patton a kiss of the wall there. Montalbot continuing to slide back here, back to 7th now, as Haynes is in control of the field.
Kirk and Sisler side by side, just behind Patton and Gibson.
They are still formed up here from 3rd on back. We'll take it a little bit easier in the mid-pack there, but not here.
Going to be 3 wide.
Almost 4 wide there as Kirk rolls out of it.
Oh, and Patton goes down to the inside. Going to put Sisler in the middle now. Gibson on the outside. Kirk going to follow Patton.
Oh, it's Sisler. Woo! Just clear to move up behind. We switch to laps to go on the board. Kirk up to 5th, looking for 4th. Whoa, and that was close. Yikes. Riding with Matt Montalbot here, watching Sisler there on the bottom, Kirk on the top side. Jacob Gibson there.
Still a pretty aggressive battle here. Sisler going to go down to the bottom. Kirk going to look to the bottom as well. Going to try and cross over. Oh, and gets loose.
Really loose.
Still has the run to make it 3 wide.
Finds the room to come back up onto the track as well. Battle brewing for second. We'll keep our eyes on that, but they are 3 wide behind him. Sisler comes out ahead.
Barely clear. They're going to drop single file down the backstretch.
Barely is enough. That seems to be the story of the night anyway.
Greg Mall now right behind them.
That was a
Kirk and Gibson touch.
not quite barely. That just was. Here's Mull underneath now. As just as quickly as Patton pulled up on Justin Michael, Michael scoots away, and now he'll look to challenge Rob Haynes maybe for the lead. Michael looking low. Coming to 19 to go at the stripe. Michael wants back on point.
Michael seeing the laps ticking down and wants it to be his race.
Certainly, I would want to be in control on a potential late race restart here. Clear.
Gonna slide right in front. Patton now gonna dive to the bottom.
Yep, here's Patton. He's trying to pack that air right onto the back of the 87. On corner exit. Get himself a run here into turn number 1. Now that we've run long enough, everybody going to start to migrate to the top side of this track. Haven't really had a long green flag run, not that this is, but haven't had one since the opening stint of this race. This is maybe already the second or third longest green flag run of the race that we've had thus far, as Patton nearly coming together there with Haynes, and now we've got slower traffic ahead.
Yeah, this will really shake things up.
Ooh, Haynes just barely sinking to the inside of Billy Bumgarner there.
Riley Tilton going to be the next truck to go lap down.
There's Jordan Neese in the chat. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly have the pace to get on the podiums. It certainly is just not going that way right now. Appreciate you stopping by, though. And we'll get to talk to you after one of these sooner rather than later. Justin Michael maybe out front. Might be the final pass for the lead of the night. He is looking to set sail. They are single file all the way back to Mark Jackson. I mean, after the night that he's had, he's in 7th. Montalban and Groover side by side for 8th behind him. And this is Jack Watson. Jacob Gibson, boy, he has really fallen here very quickly. Back to 11th. Well, maybe he'd be on for a podium. It still might be, but it's certainly not looking that way with 15 to go.
Definitely not. Still single file here in the top 5, top 6. Patton's still looking to the inside.
Yeah, the top 6 have broken away here from Mark Jackson and company behind. It's Michael, Haynes, Patton, Sisler, Kirk, and Mull. Seemingly, if this goes green, your race winner is going to come out of these 6 drivers. We've already had our first repeat pole sitter and stage winner here tonight. Can we have our first repeat race winner this evening as well? Michael would do it. And Greg Mull would do it in P6. But they'd be the only 2 out of this group. Haynes fighting hard to keep second is going to slow them both down. Michael out to a 0.3 of a second advantage. As Patton throwing up some sparks there, entering turn number 1. He'll swing it down low.
And this is what these 3 behind them want to see. Maybe not for Justin Michael to get out front, but for them to catch up to the latter podium positions.
They want a big pocket of air to try and get big runs here, but you're right. You don't want to give any daylight to Justin Michael. I'd argue the half a second that he's got right now is enough. And Pat would also
definitely
argue that as well. That's why he just made that bold move to get up in front of Rob Haynes to take second away.
Yeah, he's going to pull Sisler and Kirk up to Rob Haynes, but Kirk going to look underneath Sisler now.
Michael running the top side of the wall, just caught a little contact there as well. We'll slow him down just a little bit. Remember, he had damage to fix. Got turned into the inside wall, had to fix damage, nearly went a lap down before the stage. I mean, the fact that he's even in position to win this race at all, aerodynamically, and also, I guess, mentally, to persevere over that. That's pretty remarkable. But that's just Thursday for Justin Michael, I guess.
Just another race. Herc going to be under fire from Greg Mall now. So a lot of give and take here in the top 6, like an accordion effect.
I gotta be honest, I know you said just another race, but I thought you said Justin of the race. It's like, well, I think by default he is the Justin of the race because there's no other Justins here tonight. Well, you really have to fight to be the Josh or Joshua of the race on Tuesday.
I've got my work cut out for me, that is for sure.
15 of you showed up all at once last season. It was hard to keep track of there for a hot minute.
I'm glad at least one of us goes by another name. Cole Maxwell.
Yeah, he tries to make it easy when he can. Sisler and Kirk tracking here with 8 to go. They'll fight amongst themselves if they have to, but all 3 of these drivers, with Rob Haynes included, want on the podium.
Yeah, dare I say that the top 2 spots are relatively sealed here.
They may be, unless Scott Patton can catch Justin Michael here, and he is, little by little, creeping up into the picture. So maybe these 2 can get themselves out of sorts and bring somebody else into it. But Haynes will have his work cut out for him to take the bronze, and Patton would love to get into the winner's circle for the first time this season.
Yeah, keep up that that new winner every race streak. I know in
go ahead.
Venom Truck Series we had 8 races with 8 different winners before we had a repeat.
Yes, we did. And Patton is still closing here. Swinging it down low in these corners. Michael staying tried and true on the top side. You know, Patton is putting his right side tires through the ringer here, but if he can make it work, now Michael is starting to search around with 5 to go.
Yeah, Michael sees that gap coming down and maybe starting to think he's got to make something else happen.
Michael taking that line away now from Patton. Patton needing the clean air, runs to the middle there. And the gap stabilizes at 3/10. And now it starts to open up. Michael's got it covered. 4 to go. Patton may be out of time.
Michael going to go back up to the top here through 1 and 2. Definitely pretty spaced out. Looking at about 2 to 3 tenths for everybody outside of the podium. Behind them, Zachary Gruber has made his way to the 7th spot. Jack Watts now underneath Mark Jackson for the 8th.
So Jackson's starting to fall backwards here. Scott Patton still with 4/10 to try and make up here on Justin Michael, as Michael flirting with the wall there out of turn 2, and that brings Patton a little bit closer here. Coming to the white flag this time. A third of a second.
Patton gonna really have to throw everything that truck has to make anything happen here.
Michael able to open it up a little bit more at the stripe. 1 to go. 0.4 of a second for Patton to try and catch up to Justin Michael. Gap is not closing. One last gasp here for Patton. It's closing, but it's not going to close quick enough. Justin Michael with the comeback win here tonight at Chicagoland. How about that? The streak is over. Did I not call that earlier tonight? I said not only that our repeat streak, or our non-repeat streak would be over, but I also said it would be Lehman, Patton, and Michael that broke them. And I got them all.
You did.
Look at me go.
Call that a commentator's blessing tonight.
I guess so. And after, what was it, lap 15, 16, 17, Justin Michael could have used a blessing. And he got it.
He definitely did.
That is win number 13 in the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series for Justin Michael, the newly minted Truck 200 champion. And he is burning it down here at Chicagoland. Joliet Justin.
Definitely no stranger to the smell of burning rubber.
Certainly not. Certainly not a stranger at all to the expired TRD power plant. Justin Michael with a 13th win of his career here in Max V. What a run to the checkers there. It was a bit contentious there in the middle to late portion of this race. But certainly 26 laps to bring him home under the green. Nothing to sneeze at here after 7 cautions throughout the middle portion of the race. Congrats to Justin Michael. We'll talk to him here in just a second. We'll hope to talk to your other podium finishers as well here momentarily. Scott Patton will finish tonight in second. Third place will go to Rob Haynes. He fends everybody off behind him. As again, we still wait for the results to pop up. Why do they always do this? There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. 4th place to Matt Sisler. 5th to Greg Wall. Good comeback for him as well. He was wrecked. He might as well have been out of this race, and he rallies for a top 5 and 6. Or instead, how about P6 for Will Kirk? I'm just happy to see him finish a race here tonight. Yeah, good run for the 9. Zachary Groover, like you mentioned, plus 21 here tonight. Greg Ball also plus 21 here tonight, but Zachary Groover, back-to-back top 10s for him. Nicely done for the 27. Jack Watts will finish in 8th. It will be Mark Jackson in 9th after an up-and-down night for him. 10th to James Lehman, 11th to Matt Montalbald, who led some laps here tonight. Likewise for Jacob Gibson, who will finish down at 12th. For Sargent will finish at 13th. Kyle Kabash in 14th. It is Charlie Widener, P15, Michael Van in 16th, Trent Drum in 17th, P18 for Bill Paradise, P19, 1 lap down for Willie Evernham. Billy Bumgarner will finish in 20th, George Hendricks in 21st, 22nd for Riley Tilton, Jordan Neeson 23rd, Cody Gibson in 24th, Dakota Floyd in 25th, Tom Wiesa in 26th, it's Ty Young, Heath Smith, Brad Slagle, Chris Boyles, and Johnny Hamby, the 30 drivers that took the green flag here this evening. That is how they will finish it up at Chicagoland. So we will pull up your 3rd place finisher first. He will take the bronze here tonight. It is Rob Haynes back in booth 200. Welcome back to the booth, partner. How are we doing?
Doing good tonight, Tommy. Thanks for having me, bud.
Well, you had your hands full there for the final few laps, trying to fend off 3rd, able to get it done here tonight. But I mean, you had great pace here. Didn't really leave the top 5, it felt like, all night long.
Yeah, I had a good night. Chicago, I'm pretty successful here, and usually a good run if I can stay out of trouble and avoid pit road problems. But yeah, had a good run. I'm happy with third tonight. That'll help in the points, and as we move forward here through the season. And congrats out to Justin and Scott there. I didn't have anything for those guys. I noticed Justin kind of held back when I got the lead there, and I took off at the yellow flag, the green flag there. I just went, Tommy. I mean, I just wanted to get ahead as far as I could, and it was probably a mistake. Justin sat back a little bit and saved a bit of tires, but I'll take third. I'm happy with it. Had a good night.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, congrats on the podium tonight. As you're going on some of these restarts, what's your mentality as you see these cautions come and go and different drivers in and out of the top five, but you seeming to stay there pretty well?
Yeah, Josh. I mean, Math, when we took off there, he moved out of the way. I really don't know why he did. I know he was on old tires and didn't want to cause problems, but I think he probably could have got through 1 and 2 without me, banging into him. But man, it's just get away as fast as you can. You want to be in front. You want to stick to the guy in front of you if there is one, and try and leave the guys behind you behind. That's the way it always is on the restarts for me, anyways. And that's my mentality. Is just I want to pass guys, especially. And I'm watching, pit road and seeing what guys are doing. And I knew Math had a different strategy going on. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but I was talking with Justin there just before the start what we were going to do, and I told him I wasn't going to push him through the corner, and if he was on old tires, I'd catch him eventually. So.
Well, good stuff from you here tonight. Always great to get to talk to you at the end of the night. But let's get some shout-outs for you before we let you go.
Turn 200, Tommy, Josh, you guys, Max V, Bandit Motorsports, and my girls, as always. Appreciate the night. Had a good night. Thanks, Tommy.
Absolutely, partner. We'll hope to talk to you again next week in The Rock.
I'm sure we will. Hopefully.
Let's talk to your runner-up finisher here tonight. He was full beans there at the end, but will come up one spot short. Scott Patton, though, very solid night here this evening with the stage win in the mix there as well. How about it, partner?
Yeah, good night overall. That was kind of a crazy race there in the first half, but as it got strung out there in the second half, nothing for Justin. What can I say? I made a comment in the middle there how he was running I called him Larson there, running up against the wall. I couldn't do that. I knew if I tried, I would be on the wall before I knew it, especially with the dirty air, and that's ultimately what kind of killed us there in the last run.
Well, 225 lap runs to sort of bookend this race. Of course, a lot packier at the start there with Justin getting taken out as well. But there at the end, of course, so many people had been wiped out by that point, and all the drivers that had pace throughout the night found their way back up to the front anyway. And that was a bit more of a tactical slugfest, but you were moving around the track there trying to find a way up to the 87.
Yeah, certainly. It's exactly what we're trying to do, is trying to find that clean air. The problem is it only really works if the person that you're chasing doesn't know what you're doing. So somebody like Justin obviously knows every move inside and out. I even stayed quiet on the radio. I was telling him to kind of creep up on him and maybe surprise him, but he knows exactly what's going on. So all he did, he threw one dive in 3, just give me the dirty air to back me up, and I was tight and off the gas, laying up off the bottom, and that's what kind of did us in with 5 to go there. But the beginning of the race was kind of nuts. I won't say I'm ever glad to see teammates 90 degrees to the inside wall, but there's something relieving, I guess, when you're trying to chase Justin with all these coins. When he goes head on into the wall in lap 5, I kind of settled in knowing that a lot of the competition is took themselves out, James included, got the wall off turn 4. So we're just kind of buying our time there, but next thing you know, we're chasing them half a second behind, and he's up there with the win. So I don't know. He never goes away.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, congrats on the P2. After last week at Martinsville and the unfortunate events that unfolded, it has to be good to be back on the podium, both for points and for just your racer mentality. But chasing Justin is hard, obviously, but you got to feel like there's still something to be left out on the track.
Yeah, for sure. I told myself just getting a podium between obviously having all three Bandit guys up in the podium feels really good. And it feels good to just talk to you guys. It feels like it's been a while, and it's been even longer since we've taken one of these checkered flags home. We're hoping to do it for the Turn 200 series on Monday night one last time, because I think this was maybe the only season that we went winless there on Monday nights. But we gave them all we had there and came a little bit short. And I thought we could have a redo this time. I even told James on the pace lap, I said, if I'm 3 wide, when the white flag comes out, I ain't lifting this time. So we gave him everything we had, but we'll figure things out. We got a long season here, so as the season develops, we're going to go to work here, and I guarantee we're going to give Justin a run for his money and his coins at some point.
Well, we know you like the 1 mile tracks, but I mean, Rockingham, technically a 1 mile track next week, a bit of a wonky one though. How do we feel headed to the Rock next week?
Certainly don't want to jinx it, but we feel really good about the Rock. Like I said, that 1 mile distance tends to fall right in our lap. Usually the flat tracks, but there's something about the Rock that I think I've had an edge on Justin there in the past on some recent races. So we'll kind of keep quiet on our strategy there and see if we can let the green flags play out. And I think we might see this Stone River Outfitters Silverado up front, hopefully if things roll our way.
Well, we'll leave the 1 mile mastermind to it. But great stuff. Again, yeah, great to get to talk to you. It feels like it's been a few weeks for sure, but good stuff with the P2 here tonight, and we'll get some shout-outs for you before we let you go.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Obviously, Turn 200, some of the best in the business for sure. Appreciate the broadcasts on your last season here. Appreciate you sticking with us through our whole season. Everybody watching, hope they enjoyed the show. And Stone River Outfitters for all your fly tie fishing needs, as well as the Northeast New England Racing Museum up there by New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And yeah, great night for Bandit Motorsports. So appreciate all their help with everything and the teammates and everybody who helps to run this league. Justin, James, Heath, all those guys. So appreciate them. Appreciate them all.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight. We'll hope to talk to you at the Rock next week.
Thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we thought this man's night was over, but as it turns out, you can never count him out unless he is parked and kicking his feet up for the night. Justin Michael on top for the 13th time in a Max V Thursday night. How about it?
Yeah, after I hit that wall, I figured I was toast. The thing was driving like crap, and I was expecting minutes of damage, and I don't know how it ended up being 30 seconds. It's beyond me, but they fixed it. It's perfect, brand spanking new, and man, that thing took off.
Well, you can thank some rolling drag in that grass as well, but I mean, you did a great job. I mean, to go from full beans down the backstretch to get that thing loaded up to make just as minimal of contact as you did. But certainly I thought it would at least drive like a handful after that, but I mean, you seemed to have it very much underneath of you when you got it back out and immediately started making up ground.
Yeah, I mean, right after the wreck, it drove like crap. It was wrecking loose, but once they fixed it, I think it was perfect, man. It flew through the field. It would stick wherever I wanted to put it, and I think I was one of the only people throwing it up on the high side. It seemed like making it work.
And it's quite the contrast from Monday night as well, where we had people literally calling them the top line challenge or the high line challenge. I mean, I figured, not that we had too many long runs here tonight, but I mean, hardly anybody was migrating up to the Larson line like you were.
Yeah, I think Monday would have been different if I wouldn't have been driving too conservative. But anyway, so but yeah, I watched or saw like a clip of Kyle Larson talking about Chicagoland running the high side on Junior's podcast and said, you know what, let's give it a shot. And it was starting to work after about the first 5 laps. She was still a bottom feeder, and then you could move up top, and I think I ran wide open for a good 15 laps before I had to start lifting going into the turn.
All right, Joshua, what you got for the race winner?
Man, congrats on the win. First repeat winner this season. Definitely has to feel good after missing last week's race and being down in 5th in the points.
Yeah, it definitely does. My elbow was hurting last week, and I just really didn't want to aggravate it more by racing. Then I heard there was a bunch of yellow, so it probably would have been okay. But yeah, it definitely feels better to get back up in the points. I know we're kind of not running for points unless something really changes, because I'll miss a race in this chase. So we're just gonna try to stack up wins and get get the challenge coins. I still haven't got my first one. Got lost in the mail, so hopefully this one will get to me.
Well, that's no good. But if you win enough, then you're going to get at least one of them eventually. Yeah, like Joshua said, first repeat winner of the season. Congrats on win number 13 here with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series, and let's get some shout-outs for you.
Yeah, just you guys as always for calling a great race. We'll go back and check that out, and James for starting to leg back up a couple years ago, and Scott for painting the awesome car. Hopefully everybody out there enjoyed the show, and it was some good racing when we weren't wrecking. And sorry to who did I hit?
Cody Griffin, I think.
Yes, Cody. It wasn't Griffin, no.
Cody Gibson. Yep, you're right.
Gibson, yeah. So sorry to him for hitting him there in lap 5 when I killed myself on the backstretch. So that was my fault. I felt really bad. I don't know if I gave him damage or not.
Well, I was hoping that you would be here tonight just to be sure that you had recovered from celebrating on Monday after pulling off the championship there. So double Chicagoland weekend for you, or double Chicagoland week for you, and one win and one championship. That's a pretty good haul, leaving Illinois. So all the best to you here in the next week, and we'll hopefully talk to you at the Rock next week.
Appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next week.
Ooh, baby. Well, that was an interesting race. 225 lap runs to start and to finish this race, and then 7 cautions sandwiched in the middle there in just 100 laps. We saw it all here tonight.
Yeah, we definitely did. After going from a short track to a mile and a half that runs pretty much like pack racing, it's definitely an interesting change when it comes to driving style, and I think it just goes to show how good of drivers we have here on Thursday nights. It's always a blast to be up here in the booth and be able to call for these guys. I mean, they're in a league of their own. And it's always great to be here.
Anything else to close up the night here at Chicagoland before we send the folks packing up to the East Coast to Rockingham next week?
Just a big thanks to you, as always, and big thanks to everybody tuning in and listening to both of us babble here on a Thursday night about a bunch of trucks.
Well, here are the folks that were hanging out with us here tonight. Shout out, as always, to the Motichek gang. Shout out to Bailey and Robin. Thank you to Will Kirk supporters. Finally got a finish in the books here this season, and we'll take a P6 for the road to the Rock next week. Thank you to Michelle and Marilyn for hanging out with us. Thank you to Big W Racing, cheering on Chris Sargent to his best finish of the season, I do believe, in 13th. Nicely done for him. Heath Smith, Brad Slagle, and Riley Tilton, Jordan Neese, all in the chat way too early here tonight, hoping for better things next week at the Rock. Thank you to Martha Turheimer for stopping by here tonight. Hopefully Wally will be back next week. And thank you to Sarah for hopping in the chat there late in support of Riley Tilton as well. You're the guys are the reason we do what we do here on a Thursday night, so thanks for hanging out with us. And whether you were chatting or not, we really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody with the Max V admin team. Thank you to James. Thank you to Scott. Thank you to Heath. Thank you to Justin. Thank you to everybody else. A reminder that they've got their ARCA League starting up on Monday. They've got a recruitment race on Sunday afternoon as well. If you're interested in that, keep your eyes and ears peeled for that one. And come out and run the ARCA card on a Monday night with the Max V boys. Next time we'll be in action will be tomorrow night with the Special Stage Pro Truck Series from the Sonoma Rallycross course. 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time for that one. Tuesday night, it's the Venom Night of All-Stars at the right-turning Monza Oval. I cannot wait to finally get that on the channel. That is going to be a blast. The Open Qualifier should kick off around 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. And that will lead us back into next Thursday night, Rockingham, 9 o'clock, or rather 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, as always on a Thursday night for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Thank you to CNC Home Designs. Whether you just need a quaint little farmhouse or you need the modern home of your dreams, hit up Deb and Carrie Cleaver down in Central Florida to get you hooked up with a new house. Thank you to CNC Home Designs for their continued support of the Max V Truck Series here on Thursday nights. On behalf of Mr. Joshua Motichek, until we meet again from Chicagoland Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Justin Michael on his second win of the season, his 13th with the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.